He looked me dead into my eyes and said, "Baby, I just need your signature." Your signature. Like I was his secretary. Like I hadn't spent 13 years building everything he was about to lose. I picked up that pen, looked at those papers. $1.2 million. His whole world sitting right there on my desk. And I thought about every hotel receipt I'd found. Every late night he came home smelling like her perfume. Every lie he told me while I smiled and pretended I didn't know. 2 years. I knew for 2 whole years. And I never said a word. You want to know why? Because I was waiting for this exact moment. The moment when everything he built would depend on one thing, my name on a dotted line. And when that moment came, when he sat there looking at me with that smile, expecting me to sign away my leverage like I always did, I said 4 words that made his whole empire collapse. I want a divorce. And the look on his face, that confusion turning to panic, turning to pure terror, that was worth every silent night I spent planning this moment. If you've ever stayed quiet when you should have screamed, if you've ever played the long game waiting for your moment, if you've ever loved a man who thought your silence meant you were stupid, this story is for you. Hit that subscribe button right now, like this video, and comment below what city you're watching from. I want to know how far this message travels, because what I'm about to tell you is going to change how you see everything. My name is Denise Carter. I'm 38 years old. I'm a senior loan officer at First National Bank, and I just destroyed the man who thought he could destroy me. Let me tell you exactly how I did it. 2 years ago. That's when everything changed. But let me take you back even further first so you understand what I was dealing with. I met Raymond at my cousin's wedding. I was 23, fresh out of college, just started working at the bank as a teller. He was 26, tall, dark, handsome, and he had this smile that made you forget every red flag you'd ever learned to look for. He was charming. Lord, was he charming. The kind of man who opens doors, pulls out chairs, remembers your favorite flower. The kind of man your mama prays for. The kind of man who makes you think you finally got it right. We got married 2 years later. I was 25, wearing my grandmother's pearls, crying happy tears, thinking I'd found my forever. What I found was 13 years of carrying a man who couldn't carry himself. See, Raymond had dreams, big dreams. He wanted to start a trucking company, and I believed in him. That's what wives do, right? We believe, we support, we sacrifice. My grandmother passed away that first year of marriage, left me $50,000. Her whole life savings, money she'd scraped together working 2 jobs raising 4 kids alone after my grandfather died. Raymond had an idea for that money, an investment, he called it. 2 trucks. Start small, grow big. He painted this picture of our future, him running his empire, me by his side, our kids never wanting for nothing. So I did what good wives do. I handed over my inheritance, every penny my grandmother saved for 40 years, and I co-signed the loans because Raymond's credit was already shot from his 20s. My signature. That was the first time he needed it. Would not be the last. Fast forward 8 years. 2 trucks became 12. 15 employees. A building with his name on it. Carter Trucking, LLC. Worth $1.8 million on paper. Raymond walked around like he built that from nothing. Self-made man, he called himself. Forgot real quick whose money started it, whose credit kept it running, whose name was on every single loan. But I didn't say nothing. That's what good wives do, right? We stay quiet. We let them shine. We shrink so they can grow. Meanwhile, I'm working 50 hours a week at the bank. Started as a teller, worked my way up to senior loan officer. I review commercial loans now. $1-million deals. I know money. I know credit. I know how to read a financial statement better than most CPAs. But at home, I was just Denise, Raymond's wife. The woman who cooked, cleaned, raised his children, managed his books, filed his taxes, and smiled while he took credit for everything we built. I had 2 kids. Kayla, now 16. Marcus, 13. Good kids. Smart kids. My whole heart walking around in 2 bodies. And for a long time, I thought that was enough. The kids, the house, the career, the marriage. I thought I was living the dream. Then came that Thursday night, 2 years ago, Raymond was working late. Again. Third time that week. I didn't think nothing of it. Man's building a business, right? That's what I told myself. The kids were asleep. House was quiet. I was at the kitchen table doing what I always did at night, going through bills, organizing receipts, preparing for tax season. That's my thing. I'm organized, detailed. I keep records of everything. I needed a receipt for the business. Some equipment purchase Raymond mentioned. I went to grab it from his jacket, the one hanging on the chair where he always left it. My hand went into the pocket, and I felt something. A phone. Not his regular phone. A different one. Smaller. The kind you buy at the gas station for $40. The kind you use when you don't want nobody knowing who you calling. My heart should have been racing. That's what they show in the movies, right? The wife finds the evidence and falls apart right there, crying, screaming, throwing things. But my heart didn't race. It slowed down. Everything got real quiet, real clear, like my body already knew what my mind was catching up to. I didn't unlock the phone. Didn't need to. The existence of that phone told me everything. A married man with nothing to hide doesn't have a secret phone. I stood there in my kitchen holding the evidence of my husband's betrayal, and I felt something shift inside me, something break. But not the way you'd think. I didn't break down, I broke open. It was like waking up from a dream I didn't know I was in. All those late nights, all those business trips, all those times he came home distracted, distant, looking at his phone, with a little smile he never gave me anymore. I knew. And in that moment, I had a choice. I could confront him, scream, cry, throw that phone at his head when he walked through the door. That's what my mama would have done. That's what most women would do. But I'm not most women. I'm a loan officer. I've spent 15 years watching people make emotional decisions that destroy their lives. People who sign papers without reading them. People who react instead of plan. People who let anger cost them everything. I wasn't about to be one of them. So I made a different choice. I put that phone back in his pocket, exactly where I found it. I went to bed. Pretended to be asleep when Raymond came home at 2 a.m, smelling like perfume that wasn't mine. And the next morning I made him breakfast, smiled at him, kissed him goodbye. Then I went to work and started a file. Not a file at the bank. A personal file. My file. A file that would take me 2 years to build. A file that would destroy him. Some of y'all might be thinking I was crazy. Staying with a man I knew was cheating, smiling in his face every morning, sleeping next to him every night. But here's what you need to understand about me. I don't make moves until I know I'm going to win. That's how I got where I am at the bank. That's how I survived in a career where people twice my age tried to push me out. Patience, strategy, documentation. So for 2 years, while Raymond thought he was playing me, I was building a case. Let me tell you exactly what I found. Month 1. After I found that phone, I started paying closer attention. His patterns, his schedule, when he left, when he came home, what he said versus what he actually did. Tuesday nights, late, every single week. Thursday nights, late, every single week. Saturday afternoons, golf with the boys. Except I called Marcus his so-called golf buddy. Marcus was at home with his wife. Been there all day. So where was Raymond on those Saturday afternoons? I started checking the company credit card statements. Part of my job was managing the business finances anyway, so it didn't look suspicious. What I found made my blood boil. Hotel charges, the Marriott downtown, every Tuesday, every Thursday, $189 a night. Sometimes room service too. Champagne, strawberries, the whole romantic package. With my money, on credit I co-signed for. I didn't confront him. I made copies, saved them to a folder on my personal laptop, the one Raymond didn't know existed because he never paid attention to anything that wasn't about him. Month 3. I found her name, Miranda Wells, listed as a consultant on the company payroll, $3,500 a month, for consulting services. Except there was no consulting. I checked every invoice, every project file, every piece of documentation related to Carter Trucking. Miranda Wells had never done a single thing for that company except my husband. She was the accountant. Hired 3 years ago. Young, pretty, I'm sure. The kind of woman who makes a 41-year-old man feel 25 again. I Googled her, found her LinkedIn, MBA from Howard, 10 years younger than me, professional headshot with a confident smile, the kind of smile that says she thinks she's winning. She wasn't winning. She just didn't know it yet. Month 6, the condo. I was going through the business accounts like I always did when I saw a charge that didn't fit. $180,000, labeled as property investment. Property investment. That was new. Raymond never mentioned buying property. So I dug deeper, pulled the records, found the deed, a condo, downtown, 2 bedrooms, nice building, great view, and the name on the deed, Miranda Wells. My husband bought his mistress a condo, with money from a company I co-signed loans for, using my credit. My name. My grandmother's inheritance. I sat at my desk at the bank staring at that deed, and I had to put my hand over my mouth to stop myself from screaming, not out of sadness, out of rage. This man I had given everything to. He took my money and bought another woman a home. But still, I didn't confront him, because I wasn't ready yet. The file wasn't complete. Month 8, I saw them together. I had taken a half day from work. Dental appointment, finished early. Decided to grab lunch at this little Italian place downtown I liked. Walked in, and there they were. Corner booth, his hand on hers. Her laughing at something he said. That laugh, that flirty, head-thrown-back laugh that I used to give him when we were dating. She was pregnant. I could see it. The bump. Maybe 4 or 5 months along. She had that glow, that happy, glowing, pregnant woman look. And Raymond was looking at her like she hung the moon. My husband, the father of my children, was having a baby with another woman. I turned around and walked out before they saw me, went to my car, sat there for an hour. Didn't cry, didn't scream, just sat there breathing, thinking, planning. Most women would have walked up to that table, made a scene, thrown water in his face, let the whole restaurant know what kind of man he was. But what would that get me? A moment of satisfaction and a lifetime of regret. Because Raymond would have spun it. He's good at that. He would have told everyone I was crazy, jealous, unstable. He would have used my reaction against me. No. I needed to wait. I needed more. Month 12. The baby was born. I found the birth certificate. Raymond James Carter Jr., RJ they called him, born 7 pounds 4 ounces, father Raymond Carter, mother Miranda Wells. My husband named his son after himself, gave him the name I thought was reserved for our family. Like our children, our marriage, our 13 years together meant nothing. That hurt. I won't lie, that one hurt deep, but the hurt made me sharper, more focused, more determined. Year 2, the money trail. I started tracking every dollar, every transaction, every payment to Miranda, every condo fee, every baby expense, the consulting fees. Still going. $3,500 a month. That was $42,000 a year. The condo fees. HOA utilities insurance, paid by the company. Another $18,000 a year. Direct payments to Miranda. Started after the baby came. $5,000 a month. $60,000 a year. Plus the condo purchase. $180,000. In 2 years, Raymond had diverted over $320,000 to his mistress and their child. $320,000 from a company built on my inheritance, funded by loans I guaranteed, running on credit I provided. He was stealing from me, systematically, deliberately, while smiling in my face and calling me baby. And the best part, he had no idea I knew, not a clue. He thought I was just good old Denise, working at the bank, coming home, making dinner, going to church on Sunday, being a good wife. He underestimated me. They always do. Month 18. Kayla found the phone. My daughter, 16 years old, sharp as a tack. Nothing gets past her. She came to my room one night, closed the door behind her, had this look on her face. Serious, concerned. "Mom," she said, "I found something in Daddy's car. A phone. Not his regular phone. And there were messages on it, to someone named Miranda." I looked at my daughter, my beautiful, smart daughter, and I saw something in her eyes I recognized. That same clarity I felt 2 years ago when I found that phone in his pocket. She knew. "What did you see, baby?" I asked her. "Messages," she said. "He calls her baby. He says he loves her. He said—" She stopped, swallowed. "He said he can't wait to be with her for real, that he's going to leave soon." I pulled my daughter into a hug, held her while she cried. She wasn't crying for him. She was crying for me, for our family, for the lie we'd all been living. When she stopped crying, she looked at me. "Why aren't you surprised, Mom?" "Because I've known baby for almost 2 years now." Her eyes went wide. 2 years? Why didn't you leave?" "Because leaving isn't enough," I said. "I need to make sure we're protected first." She looked at me, really looked at me, and I saw understanding dawn on her face. "What are you going to do?" "Everything," I said. "I'm going to take everything." She nodded. Then she reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. "I took screenshots," she said, "of all the messages before he realized the phone was missing and changed the code. That's my girl. Month 23, the crisis begins. I started hearing things. Raymond coming home stressed, short-tempered, snapping at the kids for no reason. The business was in trouble, fuel prices up 40%, 2 major contracts lost, 3 trucks needing major repairs. Payroll was late twice in 1 month. Carter Trucking was drowning. And I knew from the financials that the only way out was refinancing, consolidating all those loans I co-signed into one new loan with better terms. But here's the thing about refinancing. Every single loan Raymond had required spousal consent, my signature, my credit, my approval. Without me, he couldn't refinance. Without refinancing, the bank would call those loans. Without those loans, Carter Trucking would collapse. And Raymond would have nothing. I waited 2 years for this moment, the moment when his entire future would depend on one thing, my signature. And I was about to teach him exactly what that signature was worth. Let me break down the numbers for you, because numbers don't lie. And these numbers tell a story Raymond didn't want anyone to know. Carter Trucking, LLC. On paper worth $1.8 million. 12 trucks. A building. Equipment. Contracts. But I do the taxes. I see the real balance sheet and the reality. Carter Trucking was $900,000 in debt. 4 major loans, all co-signed by me, all dependent on my credit score, which I had spent 15 years building, all secured by my signature, the equipment financing, $300,000, my name on the dotted line, the building lease, converted to a lease-to-own agreement, $200,000 remaining, my signature, the operating line of credit, $150,000, guaranteed by me. The vehicle loans on the newer trucks, $250,000, my credit. $900,000. That's what Raymond owed, and every penny of it was tied to me. But here's what Raymond didn't understand. He thought because his name was on the business he owned it. He thought because he ran the day-to-day operations he was in control. He walked around calling himself a business owner, a self-made man, like he'd built this empire from nothing. He built nothing. I built it. My money, my credit, my signature. Without me, Raymond Carter was just a man with a dream and no way to fund it. And now his dream was falling apart. The trucking industry was struggling, fuel costs eating into margins, big companies undercutting the little guys. Raymond had lost 2 of his biggest contracts in the last 6 months. The ones he still had were paying late. Cash flow was a nightmare. I watched the business accounts, saw the balance dropping week by week, saw the payroll deposits getting delayed, saw the vendors sending past due notices. Raymond was stressed. I could see it. He wasn't sleeping. He was drinking more, snapping at everyone. Even Miranda, I'm sure, was getting a different version of him than she signed up for. And then the bank called. Not my branch, the commercial lending department. They were concerned about the Carter Trucking loans. Payment history getting spotty, debt-to-income ratio looking dangerous. They wanted to discuss options. Raymond came home that night looking like he'd seen a ghost. "We need to talk about the business," he said. "I'm listening. Things are tight right now, just temporary. But I need to refinance some of the loans, get better terms, lower monthly payments until things pick up again." I nodded, said nothing. Let him talk. It's just paperwork, he said. Same as before. I just need you to sign off on the new loan. How much? He paused, swallowed. 1.2 million. Consolidating everything into one loan. That's a lot of money, Raymond. It's for the business, Denise. Our business. Our future. Our business. The business he ran into the ground. The business he stole from to fund his second family. The business that would have my name on $900,000 of debt if it failed. And he's talking about our future, like we had one. I'll need to see the paperwork, I said. You know I don't sign anything without reading it. He didn't like that. I could see it in his face, that flash of irritation he used to hide better. It's just standard stuff, same as always. Then you won't mind if I take a few days to review it. We don't have a few days. The bank needs it by Friday. Then I guess you should have brought it to me sooner. He stared at me, and for just a second, I saw something in his eyes. Suspicion. Like maybe, just maybe he was starting to wonder if good old Denise wasn't as clueless as he thought. But he pushed it down. Because he needed me. He needed my signature. And he couldn't afford to push too hard. Fine, he said. Look it over, but don't take too long. This is important. I know exactly how important it is, I said. He didn't catch the double meaning. He never did. That night after he went to sleep, I sat at my computer and pulled up everything. The refinance application, the current loan documents, the business financials, and I smiled. Because here's what Raymond didn't know. That refinance application, it had already been flagged at the bank. Not because of me, not directly. But 3 weeks ago, I had anonymously tipped off the commercial lending department about some unusual business expenses at Carter Trucking. Consulting fees that didn't match any actual services. Property purchases that weren't on the official books. They had started a review, found the payments to Miranda, found the condo purchase, found the money trail I had been documenting for 2 years. The refinance was going to be denied, not because of our divorce that wasn't filed yet, but because the bank had independently determined that Raymond was misusing company funds. He was walking into a trap, and he had no idea. But that wasn't even the best part. The best part was what I discovered when I really dug into those loan documents. Every single one had a clause. Spousal guarantee clause. Standard in commercial lending when one spouse has significantly better credit than the other. Those clauses said that if the spousal guarantor withdrew their consent, the loan could be called immediately, the full balance due in 30 days. Raymond had no idea those clauses existed. He never read the fine print. He just signed where they told him to sign and went back to playing big-shot business owner. But I read everything. I always have, which meant I had a nuclear option. At any time, I could withdraw my guarantee from those loans, all of them, and the bank would have no choice but to call them due. Raymond would have 30 days to come up with $900,000, which he didn't have, because he'd spent it all on Miranda. His business would be seized, his equipment repossessed, his building gone, everything he thought he built gone, and the debts, those would follow him, not me. Once I withdrew my guarantee and the bank called the loans, my responsibility ended. The debt would be his credit destroyed, his name ruined, while I walked away clean. That's the thing about being the one with the signature, being the one with the credit, being the one holding everything together. You can also be the one who lets it all fall apart. I had spent 2 years being patient, being quiet, being strategic. Now it was time to make my move. I picked up my phone, texted my sister Patricia, emergency meeting, tomorrow morning. Bring Val and Carmen, we need to talk. Patricia texted back in seconds. Finally, I'll make the calls. I looked at that text, finally, like she'd been waiting for this. Like everyone who loved me had been waiting for me to wake up. Well, I was awake now. And Raymond was about to find out what happens when you underestimate a woman who knows how to read a balance sheet. I went to bed that night and slept better than I had in 2 years, because I knew exactly how this story was going to end. With everything he thought he owned becoming everything he would lose, and with my signature being the last thing he'd ever need from me. Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. My alarm went off like every other day, but this wasn't every other day. This was the day everything started to move. I got up, made coffee, started breakfast. Same routine I'd done for 13 years. Eggs, turkey, bacon toast, orange juice for the kids, black coffee for Raymond, 2 sugars, just how he liked it. The kids came down first. Kayla gave me a look when she walked in. That knowing look we'd been sharing for the past 6 months. I nodded slightly. She understood. Today was different. Marcus was oblivious, thank God. 13 years old, head full of basketball and video games. He didn't need to carry what his sister and I were carrying. Not yet. Raymond came down at 7, dressed sharp like always. Custom suit, expensive watch, Italian shoes. Looking like a man who had it all together. Looking like a man who wasn't drowning in debt and lies. He kissed my cheek. "Quick routine, meaningless. You look nice today," I said. "Big meetings." "Something like that," he said. "Don't forget about those papers. I need an answer by Friday." "I know. I'll look them over tonight." He nodded, satisfied. Still had no idea. Still thought he was in control. I watched him walk out to his Escalade. The one I co-signed the loan for. The one that would be repossessed in about 2 weeks if my plan worked. "Goodbye, Raymond," I said quietly. "Enjoy your last few days of pretending." The kids left for school. I cleaned up the kitchen. And then I grabbed my phone and made the call. Patricia answered on the first ring. "It's time," I said. "Finally," she said. "I've been waiting 2 years for this call. Where and when your place?" "Tonight, 7 o'clock. Bring Val and Carmen. They'll be there." "Denise, are you okay?" "I'm better than okay," I said. "I'm ready." I hung up and went to work. Had a full day of loan reviews ahead of me, but my mind was somewhere else, running through the plan, checking every angle, making sure I hadn't missed anything. 15 years in banking teaches you one thing above all else. The person with the most information wins. And I had information Raymond didn't even know existed. At lunch, I did something I'd been putting off. I walked down to the commercial lending department, found Michael Torres, the loan officer handling the Carter Trucking refinance application. "Hey, Michael," I said casual. "Got a minute?" "Sure, Denise. What's up? I heard you're working on a trucking company refinance. Carter Trucking." He looked at me carefully. "You know I can't discuss active applications." "I know. I'm just curious. My husband owns that company." His face changed, just slightly. "But I caught it." "I see," he said slowly. "Well, I really can't discuss it then. Conflict of interest and all." "Of course. I understand completely. I just wanted to make sure you knew. Full transparency. I appreciate that, Denise." I turned to leave, then stopped. "Michael, one more thing. If there are any irregularities in those financials, anything that doesn't look right, I want you to know I had nothing to do with it. I've been a silent partner in name only. I don't manage the day-to-day operations." He looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Good to know," he said. "Good to know." I walked away knowing I'd just planted exactly what I needed to plant. When that refinance got denied, when the investigation started, Michael would remember this conversation. He'd remember that I came to him first, that I disclosed the conflict, that I distanced myself from Raymond's decisions. Cover your bases. That's what Mama always said, and I had just covered mine. That night I waited for Raymond to come home. He walked in at 8, late as usual, smelling like bourbon and lies. "Did you look at those papers?" he asked before he even took off his jacket. I did. "And sit down, Raymond. We need to talk about this properly." He didn't like that. Raymond never liked being told what to do, but he sat because he needed me. I pulled out the refinance documents, spread them across the kitchen table. "This is a lot of money," I said. $1.2 million. That's more than the original loans combined. "It's consolidation," he said. "Better terms, lower payments. It's smart business." "Is it?" "Because from what I can see, the business has been losing money for 2 years. Revenue down 30%, margins shrinking. Cash flow negative for the last 6 months. His face tightened. "You don't understand the trucking industry. There are cycles. We're in a down cycle. It'll come back." "Will it?" "Because these numbers say you're drowning Raymond, and you want me to sign off on putting us another $1.2 million in debt. It's business debt. It's different. It's debt with my name on it, my credit, my guarantee. If this goes bad, I'm on the hook too. It won't go bad. You said that about the restaurant. Remember the restaurant? The one you were going to open with Marcus Thompson? I co-signed that loan too. $45,000. Gone in 8 months. That was different. How about the real estate investment? The strip mall that was going to make us rich. 30,000. My signature. Gone. Denise, I don't need a history lesson. Apparently you do, because this is the pattern, Raymond. You have a dream. I sign the papers. It fails. And I'm left cleaning up the mess. He stood up, angry now. You know what your problem is. You don't believe in me. You never have. You just sit there with your bank job looking down on me thinking you're better because you play it safe. I'm not playing it safe. I'm being smart. There's a difference. Smart. You call this smart. Questioning your own husband. Making me feel like I have to beg for your support. I didn't say anything. Just let him rant. Let him show me exactly who he was. I have built something, Denise. Something real. Carter, trucking is my legacy. Our legacy. For our children. And you want to throw that away because of some numbers on a spreadsheet. I want to understand what I'm signing. Is that so wrong? He took a breath, tried to calm himself down. Switch tactics. That's what Raymond did. When anger didn't work, he tried charm. Baby, he said softer now. I know things have been hard. I know I've been stressed. But this refinance is going to fix everything. Better terms, lower payments. It's going to turn it all around. I just need you to trust me. One more time. Trust. That word almost made me laugh out loud. I'll think about it, I said. Give me until Friday. Friday is the deadline. Then you'll have my answer on Friday. He stared at me, trying to read me, trying to figure out what was different, but he couldn't see it. Couldn't see that the woman sitting in front of him wasn't the same woman who'd been signing his papers for 13 years. Fine, he said finally. Friday. He grabbed his keys. Where are you going out? I need some air. He left. Going to Miranda, I was sure. Going to complain about his difficult wife. Going to seek comfort from the woman he'd bought with my money. Let him go. Let him have his last few nights of pretending. Because Friday wasn't going to be the day I signed those papers. Friday was going to be the day his whole world collapsed. Patricia's house. 7 p.m. The four of us gathered around her dining room table like generals planning a war. Patricia, my older sister, 42, divorced HR director at a Fortune 500 company. She'd been through her own version of this. Husband who cheated. Took her to the cleaners in the divorce because she wasn't prepared. She'd spent the last 10 years rebuilding. She wasn't going to let me make the same mistakes. Valerie Brooks, 39, my best friend since college, real estate attorney now, sharp as a knife and twice as dangerous in a courtroom. She'd handled hundreds of divorces, knew every trick, every trap, every way a man tries to hide assets. Carmen Reyes, 40, my coworker at the bank, forensic accountant by training. The woman could trace $1 through 17 shell companies and tell you what color socks the owner was wearing. If there was hidden money, Carmen would find it. And me, Denise Carter, tired of being played, ready to play back. I laid everything out on the table. 2 years of documentation, bank statements, credit card records, the condo deed, Miranda's consulting payments, photos I'd taken of receipts, screenshots Kayla had captured from his phone, everything. They went through it in silence, flipping pages, exchanging looks, occasionally shaking their heads. Patricia spoke first. Denise, girl, this is worse than I thought. It's comprehensive, Valerie said. You've got him dead to rights on the affair. But what's your goal here? Just the divorce? Or do you want to destroy him? I want to be free, I said. Free and protected. I don't want to walk away from this marriage with debt I didn't create. I don't want to lose my house. I don't want to share custody with a man who's been lying to our children for years. I want everything I'm entitled to, and I want him to have exactly what he deserves, which is nothing, Patricia said, which is nothing, I agreed. Carmen pulled out her laptop. I've been doing some digging since you called this morning, she said. Hope you don't mind. You found something. Oh, honey, I found a lot. She turned the screen toward us. The consulting payments to Miranda Wells. Those aren't the only irregular expenses. Raymond's been running personal charges through the business account for years. Clothes, golf trips, that watch he wears $4,000, charged as office equipment. That's tax fraud, Valerie said. At minimum. But here's the interesting part. She pulled up another screen. Miranda Wells opened a bank account 6 months ago. Joint account. With Raymond. I felt the blood drain from my face. He has another bank account? He does. And guess where those consulting payments have been going? Not to her personal account. To this joint account. He's been building a nest egg with her, planning his exit. How much? Carmen scrolled through numbers. Current balance as of yesterday, $147,000. The table went silent. $147,000. My husband had been siphoning money into a secret account with his mistress for months, maybe years, building their future while letting our marriage rot. That's marital funds, Valerie said slowly. Money earned during the marriage. Doesn't matter what account it's in. Half of that is yours by law. Maybe more, given that he's been hiding it. But can we prove he was hiding it? I asked. Carmen smiled. That's the best part. These accounts, they're at First National Bank. Our bank. Different branch, but same system. You accessed his accounts. I accessed information that's available to any employee with proper authorization during a fraud investigation. And since his business accounts have been flagged for irregular activity, there's an active fraud investigation, which I happen to be assisting with. Isn't that a conflict of interest? It would be, if anyone knew you and I were connected. But we've never disclosed our friendship at work. As far as the bank knows, I'm just doing my job. Valerie nodded appreciatively. That's actually brilliant. The bank discovers the fraud independently. The evidence comes through official channels, nothing that can be challenged in court. Exactly, Carmen said. And there's more. She pulled up another document. The condo he bought Miranda. He listed it as a business property on the company books, claimed it was a corporate apartment for out-of-town clients. But the deed is in her name, I said. Right. Which means he's been deducting it as a business expense while giving it to her personally. That's not just fraud. That's embezzlement from his own company. A company I'm a partner in, I said. A company you co-signed loans for, Valerie clarified. You have ownership interest. He's been stealing from you, Denise. Literally. Every dollar he's diverted to Miranda to that secret account to personal expenses. That's money that should have been building marital equity. Patricia leaned forward. So what's the plan? How do we nail him? Valerie took over. Her lawyer brain was fully engaged now. Here's how I see it. We have 3 fronts. First, the marriage. We file for divorce on grounds of adultery and financial misconduct. We request emergency asset freeze to prevent him from moving more money. We demand full accounting of all marital assets, including the hidden account. Second, the business. Denise withdraws her guarantee on those loans. The bank calls them due. Raymond can't pay. Carter Trucking collapses. But here's the key. We do this after the divorce is filed. That way the debt becomes his separate debt, not marital debt. Third, the house. The mortgage is in Denise's name. The deed is joint, but she's been making all the payments. We file for exclusive use of the marital residence. He has to leave. She stays with the kids. What about custody? Patricia asked. Valerie smiled grimly. He's been having an affair for 2 years. He has a secret child. He's been stealing from the family. He's been lying to his children. No judge in Georgia is going to give him primary custody. We'll push for full custody with supervised visitation. He'll fight it, I said. Let him fight. With what money? His business is about to collapse. His secret account is about to be frozen. He'll be bankrupt within 6 months, and bankrupt men don't win custody battles. Carmen raised a point. What about his mother, Gloria? She's been complicit in all this, knows about Miranda, encourages the affair. What about her? Raymond pays her mortgage from the business account. Another personal expense disguised as business. Valerie's eyes lit up. So when the business collapses, Gloria's mortgage doesn't get paid. She defaults. She could lose her house. I thought about that for a moment. Gloria, my mother-in-law, the woman who'd called Miranda an upgrade to my face. The woman who'd known about the affair and encouraged it. The woman who looked at me like I was the hired help for 13 years. She made her choice, I said. She chose his side. She can live with his consequences. Patricia nodded approvingly. That's my sister. Valerie started writing on her legal pad. Okay, here's the timeline. Tomorrow, Thursday, we prepare all the documents. I'll draft the divorce petition. Carmen, I need you to compile all the financial evidence into a report. Official looking. Something we can submit to the court. I'll have it ready by end of day. Patricia, I need you to check on something. Raymond's company has employees. They might be owed back wages. If they are, that's another creditor who'll come after him when this falls apart. I'll make some calls. Denise. Valerie looked at me seriously. This is the hard part. Tomorrow night you need to move money. Whatever's in your joint household accounts, you need to transfer it to an account in your name only. This is legal. You're protecting marital assets from dissipation. But you need to do it before we file. How much is in there? I thought about it. Our household account, the one I deposited my paycheck into, the one Raymond occasionally took money from for business expenses. Maybe $12,000, I said. Depends on what he's taken recently. Take it all. Open a new account at a different bank. One he doesn't know about. Put the money there. What about the bills? Pay everything due before you move the money. Mortgage, utilities, car payments. Get current on everything. Then move what's left. And the credit cards, freeze them. All of them. Tomorrow. Call every credit card company. Tell them you've lost your cards. They'll deactivate and reissue. The new cards come to you. He won't be able to use them. Won't he notice? By the time he notices, it'll be Friday. And Friday is when everything happens. I took a deep breath. This was really happening. After 2 years of watching, waiting, documenting, we were actually doing this. What happens Friday? I asked. Valerie smiled. Friday morning I file the divorce petition. Emergency motion for asset freeze. Request for exclusive use of the marital residence. I've already got a judge who owes me a favor. We'll have those orders signed by noon. Friday afternoon, Raymond gets served. At his office, in front of his employees. The sheriff's deputy will hand him the papers and inform him that his bank accounts are frozen and he has 48 hours to vacate the family home. Friday evening, you change the locks. I felt something rise in my chest. Not fear, not sadness. Something else. Power. For 2 years I'd been powerless. Watching, waiting, taking his lies and his disrespect and his betrayal. But now I had the power, and I was going to use every bit of it. What if he comes back? I asked. What if he won't leave? That's what the police are for. You'll have a court order. If he violates it, he goes to jail. And the refinance. The bank meeting on Friday. Carmen laughed. The refinance is already dead. The bank flagged the application 3 days ago. Too many irregularities. Even without the divorce, they were going to deny it. He doesn't know that yet, I said. He'll find out. Right about the same time the deputy hands him those divorce papers. Patricia reached across the table and took my hand. Denise, are you sure about this? Once we start, there's no going back. I looked at my sister, my friend, my coworker, these women who had dropped everything to help me take back my life. Patricia, I said, I've been going back for 13 years. I've been giving him chance after chance after chance. I've been signing papers, writing checks, making excuses, believing lies. I'm done going back. This time I'm going forward. And he's not coming with me. Patricia squeezed my hand. That's my sister, she said again. That's my sister. We spent the next 2 hours going over every detail, every document, every contingency. By the time I left Patricia's house, it was almost midnight. But I wasn't tired. I was ready. 2 more days. 2 more days of pretending. 2 more days of being good old Denise, the wife who didn't know anything. And then Raymond Carter was going to learn the most expensive lesson of his life. Never underestimate a woman with a plan. Thursday. The day before everything changed. I woke up at 5. Couldn't sleep anyway. My mind was running through checklists. Everything had to be perfect. One mistake, one missed step, and Raymond could find a way to fight back. I made breakfast like normal, smiled at Raymond like normal, kissed him goodbye like normal. But inside, I was counting down the hours. At work, I kept my head down, reviewed loans, attended meetings, acted like everything was fine. Nobody could know. Not yet. During my lunch break, I made the calls. First, the credit card companies. I had 4 cards with my name on them. 3 joint, 1 individual. I'd like to report my cards lost, I said to each one. Yes, all of them. Can you deactivate immediately and send replacements? They were all very helpful. New cards would arrive in 3 to 5 business days. At my address, where I would intercept them before Raymond ever knew. Next, the bank. I went to a branch across town, one where nobody knew me. "I'd like to open a new checking account," I said. "Individual, just in my name." The banker was pleasant, didn't ask questions, just processed the paperwork. "I'd also like to set up a transfer for tomorrow morning," I said. "First thing, from my joint account at First National to this new account. How much would you like to transfer?" Everything I said, whatever the balance is at 8 a.m. tomorrow. She typed it in without blinking. It was just a transfer to her. She didn't know she was helping me escape. I left with new account information in my purse. A new debit card would come in the mail. A new start. That afternoon, I got a text from Carmen. "Report is done. Sending to Val now. It's devastating." I texted back a simple thumbs up. Couldn't risk more. Couldn't risk anyone seeing. At 3 o'clock, I got another text. This one from Valerie. "Petition is drafted. Ready to file tomorrow at 9 a.m. Judge Morrison is on the bench. He's the one I mentioned. Emergency motions will be heard by noon." I felt my heart racing. It was really happening. I texted back, "What about the orders? Asset freeze will be immediate. Exclusive use of residence will require a brief hearing, but Morrison is sympathetic to domestic situations. I'll present the financial evidence. He'll sign. And the service sheriff's deputy is scheduled for 2 p.m. Raymond's office address. Nice and public." I put my phone away. Took a deep breath. 24 hours. In 24 hours, Raymond Carter would find out what happens when you betray a woman who knows how to read a balance sheet. That evening, I did something I'd been putting off. I talked to my children. Kayla was in her room. Homework spread across her desk. She looked up when I knocked. "Mom." "Everything okay?" I sat on her bed. "Tomorrow," I said. "It's happening tomorrow." She closed her textbook, gave me her full attention. "What do I need to do?" "Nothing. Just go to school like normal. Come home like normal. But when you get home, your father won't be here. You're kicking him out. I'm protecting us. There's a difference." She nodded slowly. "What about Marcus? I'm going to talk to him now. But he doesn't know as much as you do. He doesn't need to know everything yet. What do you want me to tell him?" "Just that Mom and Dad are having some problems. That we're going to stay with Mom. That everything is going to be okay. Is it going to be okay?" I looked at my daughter, 16 years old, already carrying too much, already too wise for her age. "Yes, baby. It's going to be okay. It might be hard for a while. Your father is going to be angry. He might say things about me. He might try to turn you against me." "He won't," she said firmly. "I know who you are. I know what you've done for this family, and I know what he did." I hugged her, held her tight. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I'm sorry you had to find out like this. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you from knowing." "Mom." She pulled back and looked at me. "You protected me by waiting, by planning, by not just exploding and letting him spin it. You protected me by being smart. When did you get so grown?" I asked, wiping my eyes. "I learned from watching you," she said. "I learned that strong women don't just react. They plan, they prepare, they win. That's my girl." I talked to Marcus next. That conversation was harder. He didn't know about Miranda, didn't know about the affair, just knew that something was wrong between his parents. "Your father and I are separating," I told him. "Starting tomorrow, it's going to be just us here, you, me, and Kayla." Why, he asked. What happened? "We've been having problems for a long time, baby. Grown-up problems. Things that aren't your fault and aren't your business to worry about. All you need to know is that I love you, Kayla loves you, and we're going to be okay. Does Dad not love us anymore?" That question broke my heart. Even after everything Raymond had done, his son still wanted his father's love. "Your father loves you," I said carefully. "He's just made some bad choices. Choices that mean he can't live here anymore. But he still loves you. That will never change." Marcus didn't look convinced. Smart kid. He knew something bigger was happening. But he was also only 13. He didn't need the whole truth. Not yet. "Can I call him? After he finds a new place to live?" "Yes. I'm not keeping you from your father, Marcus. I just need to keep us safe first. Safe from what? From bad decisions, from debt, from grown-up problems that shouldn't touch you." He nodded, still confused, still scared, but trusting me. "I love you, Mom," he said. "I love you too, baby. So much." That night, Raymond came home late. Again. Probably from Miranda's. Probably spending his last evening of freedom pretending he had a future with her. He walked past me in the living room, barely looked at me. "I'm going to bed," he said. "Early meeting tomorrow. Don't forget about those papers." "I won't forget," I said. And I meant it. I wouldn't forget a single thing he'd done. Not for as long as I lived. I stayed up late, going through documents one more time, making sure everything was in order. Tomorrow, Raymond Carter would walk into his office like any other day. He'd drink his coffee, take his meetings, maybe call Miranda during his lunch break. And at 2 o'clock, a sheriff's deputy would walk through his door with papers that would end his life as he knew it. His accounts frozen, his home no longer his wife no longer pretending, his lies finally catching up. I went to bed at midnight, set my alarm for 6. Tomorrow was going to be a long day, but for the first time in 2 years, I was actually looking forward to it. Friday. D-Day. I was awake before my alarm, 5:45, staring at the ceiling, running through every step in my head. 8 a.m. Money transfer. 9 a.m. Valerie files. Noon. Emergency orders signed. 2 p.m. Raymond served. 3 p.m. I leave work early. 4 p.m. Locksmith arrives. By tonight this would all be over, one way or another. I got up, showered, put on my best professional outfit, navy blue suit, pearl earrings, hair done just right. If I was going to blow up my marriage today, I was going to look good doing it. Raymond was already up when I came downstairs. That was unusual. He was normally the last one awake. "You're up early," I said carefully. "Big day. The refinance meeting is this afternoon." "Right. The refinance." He looked at me, that expectant look, waiting for me to give him what he wanted. Like always. "Did you sign those papers?" "Not yet." "Denise, I need them before the meeting." "When is the meeting?" 2 o'clock. I almost laughed. 2 o'clock. The exact time the deputy was scheduled to serve him. Perfect timing. "I'll bring them to your office," I said. "Before the meeting." He looked suspicious. "Why not just sign them now?" "Because I want to go over a few things with you first. In person. At your office." He didn't like it, but he couldn't argue. He needed my signature. He couldn't push too hard. "Fine. Come by at 1:30. We'll go over everything. I'll be there." He grabbed his keys and left. Didn't kiss me goodbye. Didn't even look back. Good. Made it easier. At 8 a.m., I confirmed the transfer. Checked my new account. $12,467. Safe. Protected. Mine. At 8:30, I called Valerie. "Filing now," she said. "I'm walking into the courthouse. Call you when it's done." At 9:15, she called back. "Filed. Case number assigned. Emergency motion is on Judge Morrison's docket for 11 a.m. What are the chances with this evidence? 100%. Morrison hates men who hide money. Wait for my call." I tried to focus on work. Couldn't. Every time my phone buzzed, my heart jumped. At 11:45, Valerie called again. "Orders signed. All of them. All of them. Asset freeze is immediate. I'm sending notification to First National right now. By noon, every account with Raymond's name on it will be frozen, including the business accounts. Including everything. He won't be able to withdraw $1. What about the house? Exclusive use granted." Judge was very sympathetic when he saw the financial misconduct. "You have sole right to the residence effective immediately. Raymond has 48 hours to remove his personal belongings. And the custody temporary order. You have physical custody pending the full hearing. Raymond gets supervised visitation. Twice a week, 4 hours each in a public place. No overnights. He's going to lose his mind. Let him. The orders are signed. He can scream all he wants. The law is on your side now." I exhaled. Felt something release in my chest that I'd been holding for 2 years. "What about the service deputy is confirmed for 2 p.m. He'll be served at Carter Trucking headquarters. Nice and public. Did you send the refinance denial? I didn't have to. The bank sent their own. Carmen made sure it went out this morning. Raymond's going to find out his refinance is denied right before he finds out his wife is divorcing him. That's poetic. That's justice." I hung up and sat at my desk, trying to process what was happening. In 2 hours, Raymond Carter's entire life would collapse. His money frozen, his refinance denied, his marriage over, his home no longer his, everything he thought he built, everything he thought he controlled, gone. And it was all because of a signature he never got. At 1 o'clock, I left work, told my boss I had a personal matter to handle. He didn't ask questions. Mr. Banks knew. He'd known since I told him about the irregularities. He just nodded and told me to take care of myself. I drove to Raymond's office, Carter Trucking Headquarters, a modest building in an industrial park, 12 trucks parked in the lot, his name on the door, all of it built with my money, all of it about to crumble. I walked in at 1:25. Raymond's secretary looked up, smiled. "Mrs. Carter, he's expecting you. Go on back." I walked down the hallway, past the photos on the wall, Raymond shaking hands with clients, Raymond with his trucks, Raymond accepting some business award. Not a single picture of me, the woman who made all of it possible. That was about to change. I knocked on his office door. "Come in." He was behind his desk, papers spread everywhere, stress visible in his shoulders, in his jaw. "Close the door," he said. I did. "Where are the papers?" I sat down across from him. Took my time, let him wait. "Before we get to that," I said, "I need to tell you something. Denise, we don't have time for this. The bank is coming at 2. "No," I said. "They're not." "What?" "The bank denied your refinance application. You should have received the notification this morning." His face went white. "What are you talking about?" "The bank found irregularities in your financials, consulting payments that don't match any services, property purchases not on your official books, personal expenses disguised as business costs." "How do you know that I work at the bank, Raymond? Did you forget I know everything that happens there?" He stood up, panicking now. "This is a mistake. I need to call them. I need to explain." "There's nothing to explain. The decision is final. Your refinance is dead. Then I'll go to another bank. I'll find another lender. With what credit your score is shot. And without my guarantee, no one will touch you. Then you'll guarantee it. You're my wife. You'll sign. That's the other thing I need to tell you." I reached into my purse, pulled out the papers. Not the refinance documents. Different papers. I slid them across his desk. "What is this divorce petition? Filed this morning. You're being formally notified." He stared at the papers, not touching them, like they were poison. "This is a joke." "It's not a joke, Raymond. It's over. Because of the refinance, Denise, we can work this out. We can find another way. It's not about the refinance. It's about Miranda." His face changed, just for a second. "Fear. Who Miranda Wells? Your accountant. The woman you've been sleeping with for 2 years. The woman you bought a condo for. The woman you have a child with. Denise. Baby. I don't know what you've heard, but stop." I held up my hand. "Just stop. I know everything. I've known for 2 years. 2 years I found your phone. The burner. 2 years ago. I've been documenting everything since then. Every payment to her. Every hotel charge. Every consulting fee that was actually hush money. You went through my things, I went through my finances. My money, my credit, my signature on loans you used to fund your affair." He sat back down, deflated. "Denise, it was a mistake. She means nothing. She has your son." That landed like a punch. He couldn't deny it, couldn't spin it. "I was going to end it," he said weakly. "I was going to come back to you, to us, to our family." "No, Raymond, you weren't. You were going to get me to sign that refinance, stabilize your business, and then leave me with the debt while you ran off with her. I heard your plan. I know exactly what you were going to do. Who told you? Who's been feeding you lies? Nobody fed me anything. I'm a loan officer. I know how to follow money. And you left a trail a mile wide." He was quiet for a moment, processing, calculating, looking for an angle. "What do you want?" he asked finally. "Money, fine. I'll give you money. We'll work out a settlement. But we don't need to do this in court. We don't need lawyers." "Too late," I said. "My lawyer already filed. Emergency motions were heard this morning. Judge signed them all." "What motions? Asset freeze. Every account with your name on it is frozen as of noon. You can't do that." "I didn't. The judge did. Based on evidence of financial misconduct. That money is for the business, for payroll. Should have thought about that before you spent $147,000 building a nest egg with your mistress." His eyes went wide. "How do you know about that, I told you? I know everything." He stood up again. Angry now, cornered animal. "You're not taking everything I built. I'll fight this. I'll get my own lawyer." "With what money, Raymond?" "Your accounts are frozen. Your refinance is denied. Your business is about to collapse." He moved toward me, not quite threatening, but close. "I'm not letting you destroy me, Denise. I'm not going down like this." I didn't flinch. Didn't back away. "You destroyed yourself. I'm just making it official." He was about to say something else when there was a knock on the door. "Mr. Carter," his secretary's voice. "There's a sheriff's deputy here to see you." Raymond's face went gray. I stood up, straightened my jacket. "That would be your service," I said. "You're officially notified of the divorce, the asset freeze, and the order requiring you to vacate our home within 48 hours. Our home, that's my home. Check the mortgage payments. Check whose name is on the deed. Check who actually paid for everything. It's my home. It always was." The door opened. A deputy in uniform stepped in. Raymond Carter. Raymond couldn't speak, just stared. "Sir, you're being served with divorce papers and emergency court orders. Please confirm you've received them." He dropped the papers on Raymond's desk. Raymond still didn't move. I walked toward the door, stopped beside the deputy. "Thank you, officer," I said. "I think he's in shock. He'll be okay." I looked back at Raymond one more time. "The locksmith comes at 4. I'd recommend getting your things before then. After that, you'll need a police escort to retrieve anything." Then I walked out. Past his employees who had clearly heard everything. Past his secretary whose mouth was hanging open. I walked out into the sunshine, took a deep breath. It was done. 2 years of waiting, 2 years of planning, 2 years of pretending. All for this moment. And it felt even better than I'd imagined. I drove home with those windows down, wind in my face, music playing, feeling lighter than I had in years. My phone started ringing before I made it 3 blocks. Raymond. I declined the call. He called again. Declined, again, declined. Then the text started. "Denise, please call me. We need to talk. This is insane. You can't do this. Think about the kids, Denise. I'll fix everything. I promise." I didn't respond to any of them. Nothing left to say. Then a different number. One I didn't recognize. I answered. "Hello, is this Denise Carter?" A woman's voice, shaky, angry. "Who's this?" "This is Miranda Wells, and I want to know what the hell you think you're doing." I almost laughed. The audacity. "I think I'm divorcing my husband," I said calmly. "What concern is that of yours? You're destroying him. You're destroying everything he's built. I'm reclaiming what was always mine." "There's a difference. You don't understand. He loves me. He was going to leave you. We were going to be together." "Then why didn't he?" I asked. 2 years, Miranda. He's been promising you for 2 years. And what did you get? A condo he bought with stolen money, a child he can barely support, and a man who couldn't even tell his wife the truth. She was quiet for a moment. "He said you were boring, cold, that you didn't understand him. He said a lot of things. Most of them were lies. You should know that better than anyone." "What am I supposed to do now?" "The accounts are frozen. I can't access anything. That sounds like a Raymond problem, not a Denise problem. You're a cold woman. I'm a smart woman, and I'm done cleaning up after your boyfriend's messes. Good luck." I hung up, blocked the number. That felt good too. I got home at 3:15. The house was quiet, kids still at school. I walked through the rooms, our bedroom, the closet full of his expensive suits, the bathroom with his cologne and products, all of it about to be packed up and removed. I started gathering things. His stuff, just the personal items the court order allowed him to take. Clothes, toiletries, some books, his golf clubs. I put it all in the garage, boxes stacked neatly by the door. When he came, if he came, it would be ready. The locksmith arrived at 4, a middle-aged man with a toolbox, professional. Didn't ask questions. "Want me to change them all?" he asked. All of them. Front door, back door, garage entry, everything. He nodded and got to work. The kids came home while he was finishing up. Mom Marcus looked confused. "Who's that?" "He's changing the locks, baby. Your father won't be living here anymore. This is part of keeping us safe. Is he going to be mad?" "Probably. But that's not your problem. Your job is just to be a kid. Let me handle the grown-up stuff." Kayla understood without explanation. She just hugged me and went to her room. By 5 o'clock, new locks were installed. New keys in my hand. The locksmith gave me a receipt. "You're all set," he said. "Nobody's getting in without your permission now. Thank you." He left. I stood in my doorway, looking at my house, my home, the one I had paid for, maintained, protected. For the first time in 13 years, it felt truly mine. At 6 o'clock, Raymond showed up. I watched through the window as he pulled into the driveway, saw him try his key, watched his face when it didn't work. He pounded on the door. "Denise, open this door." "Denise!" I didn't respond, didn't open it, just stood there. "I know you're in there. This is my house. You can't lock me out of my own house." I opened the door. Just a crack. Chain still on. "It's not your house, Raymond. It never was. Your belongings are in the garage. Take them and leave. This is insane. You've lost your mind. I've found my mind. That's what you're really upset about." He tried to push the door. The chain held. "Let me in. I need to talk to the kids. They're my children. You can talk to them during your supervised visitation. Twice a week. 4 hours. In a public place. That's what the court ordered." Court ordered. This is ridiculous. I'm their father. You're their father who's been lying to them for 2 years, who had a secret family, who stole their mother's money. The court takes that seriously. I'm calling my lawyer. Good luck finding one who'll work for free. Your accounts are frozen, remember? His face twisted. Rage, humiliation, desperation. Then something changed. The mask slipped. For just a second, I saw the real Raymond. Not the charming man who sold himself to clients. Not the smooth talker who made people believe in him. Just a scared, angry man who had lost control. "You're going to regret this," he said quietly. "Both of you. Both of you and whoever put you up to this. This isn't you, Denise. You don't do things like this. Someone's pulling your strings." I almost felt sorry for him. He still couldn't believe I was capable of this. Still couldn't accept that the woman he'd dismissed for years had been planning his downfall. "Nobody's pulling my strings, Raymond. I figured this out myself. I've been figuring it out for 2 years. While you were busy with Miranda, I was busy building a case. 2 years, 2 years. Every document, every receipt, every dollar you stole. I know it all." He stepped back, finally understanding. The signatures. You never needed the papers. You knew about the refinance. You knew it would fail. I knew everything. I just needed to wait for the right moment. You set me up. No, you set yourself up. I just made sure the trap had teeth. He stared at me for a long moment. Then he laughed. A strange, broken sound. "I underestimated you," he said. "Yes, you did." I closed the door, locked it, put on the chain. He stood outside for another minute. Then I heard his car start, heard him drive away. Gone. The kids came down when they heard the silence. "Is he gone?" Marcus asked. "He's gone." "Is he coming back?" "Not to live here. He'll see you for visits." "But this is our home now. Just us." Marcus looked relieved. Kayla put her arm around him. "It's going to be okay," she told her brother. "Mom's got this." I looked at my children, my strong, resilient, brave children. "Let's order pizza," I said, "and watch a movie. Something fun. No drama tonight. We've had enough drama." They smiled, first real smiles I'd seen in days. We ate pizza, watched a comedy, laughed together, and for the first time in 2 years, my house felt like a home again. The fallout came fast and hard, just like I knew it would. Saturday morning. My phone rang at 7. "Gloria, Raymond's mother." I answered. Might as well get this over with. "Denise Marie Carter." Her voice was ice. "What have you done to my son?" "Good morning to you too, Gloria. Don't you—" "Good morning, me. Raymond called me last night, crying. Crying, Denise. You've destroyed that boy. Raymond is 41 years old. He's not a boy. And I didn't destroy anything. He did. He made mistakes. Men make mistakes. That's no reason to take everything from him." "Mistakes?" I laughed. "Is that what we're calling it? A 2-year affair is a mistake. A secret child is a mistake. Stealing $300,000 is a mistake." She was quiet for a moment. I knew she knew. She'd always known. "Miranda is a good woman," Gloria said finally. "She's been better to my son than you ever were. Then she can have him. I'm sure they'll be very happy together, in their frozen bank accounts, in their failing business, in the wreckage of everything they built. You're bitter. I'm free. There's a difference. You're going to burn in hell for what you've done to this family. Gloria, I've been in hell for 13 years, living with your son, funding his failures, enduring your criticism, watching him lie to my face. Hell is familiar to me. I'm not afraid of it anymore." She started to respond, but I cut her off. "And speaking of hell, your mortgage, the one Raymond's been paying from the business, that's about to stop. The business accounts are frozen. The company is collapsing. Your payment is due next week. I hope you have savings." "That's not possible. Raymond wouldn't let me lose my house. Raymond can't afford a cup of coffee right now. He has nothing. And soon neither will you. You're evil. You're a devil. I'm a woman who got tired of being taken advantage of. If that makes me evil, so be it." I hung up, blocked her number too. That felt even better than the Miranda call. By Sunday, the church knew. Of course they did. Small community, big drama, perfect gossip fuel. I went to service anyway, walked in with my head high, sat in my usual spot, pretended I didn't hear the whispers. "Have you heard about the Carters?" She threw him out, changed the locks. "I heard there was another woman. I heard he has a whole other child. I heard she froze all his money." Let them talk. They only knew part of the story, and the part they knew made me look like the woman I was, a woman who finally stood up. After service, Pastor Williams approached me. "Sister Carter, can we talk?" "Of course, Pastor." He led me to his office, closed the door, put on his concerned face. "I've heard some troubling things about your family situation." "I'm sure you have. Divorce is a serious matter. The Bible is clear about the sanctity of marriage. The Bible is also clear about adultery, and theft, and lying." He shifted uncomfortably. "I understand emotions are high, but have you considered counseling? Have you prayed about reconciliation?" Pastor Williams. "My husband has been having an affair for 2 years. He has a child with another woman. He stole over $300,000 from our family. He used my credit to fund his mistress's lifestyle, and when I finally confronted him, he threatened me." I paused. "Let that sink in. I have prayed. I prayed for 2 years for guidance, and God told me to protect myself and my children. That's what I'm doing." "But divorce." "Pastor, with all due respect, when you've spent 2 decades building a career and a family only to watch your husband build a secret life with someone else, you can counsel me on divorce. Until then, I'll make my own decisions." I stood up. "I'll still be attending services. My children will still be in youth group. But I won't be serving on any committees until this is settled. I need to focus on my family." I walked out before he could respond. On my way to the parking lot, someone caught my arm. "Sister Carter." "Wait." I turned. Mother Ernestine Bradley, 78 years old, church elder, one of the wisest women I knew. "I heard what happened," she said quietly, "and I need to tell you something." "Yes, ma'am." "You did right." I blinked. "What?" "You did right. That man wasn't worthy of you, never was. I saw it from the beginning. But you loved him, so I held my tongue." She squeezed my hand. "God doesn't call us to be martyrs in our own homes. He calls us to protect what's precious. Your children are precious. Your peace is precious. You, Denise, are precious. And you finally acted like you believed that." "Thank you, Mother Ernestine." "Don't thank me. Just promise me something, anything. Don't take him back, no matter what he says, no matter how much he begs. Men like Raymond don't change. They just get better at hiding. I won't take him back." She nodded, satisfied. "Good girl. Now go home and rest. You've got a battle ahead of you. Save your strength." She was right. The battle was just beginning. The next 2 weeks were chaos. Raymond hired a lawyer, some cut-rate guy from a strip mall, best he could afford with frozen accounts and a failing business. They filed a response to my petition, denied everything, claimed I was mentally unstable, claimed I had fabricated the evidence, claimed he was a loving husband and father who had been blindsided. Valerie wasn't worried. Standard playbook, she said. Deny everything. Attack the victim. Make it about her, not him. Every cheating husband tries this. Will it work? Not with our evidence. We have bank records, credit card statements, property deeds, eyewitness accounts. We have your daughter's screenshots. We have Carmen's forensic report. He can deny all he wants. The paper doesn't lie. What about custody? He's asking for joint, 50-50, but his lawyer knows that's not happening. It's a negotiating position. He'll settle for reasonable visitation if we push. I don't want my children spending unsupervised time with a man who lies that easily. We'll fight for supervision, at least for the first year. Let him prove he can be honest before we give him unsupervised access. Meanwhile, Carter Trucking was dying. Without the refinance, the loans came due. The bank called them just like we knew they would. Raymond couldn't pay. Of course he couldn't. The trucks were repossessed first, one by one. I drove by the lot and saw them disappearing. 12 trucks, then 10, then 6, then none. The employees quit when their paychecks bounced, filed for unemployment. Some filed lawsuits for unpaid wages. Carmen tracked all of it. More ammunition for the divorce. The building lease was terminated. Raymond got an eviction notice. 30 days to vacate. By the end of the month, Carter Trucking existed only on paper. A shell company with nothing but debt. And all that debt, still in Raymond's name. The judge had ruled that since he had misused company funds for personal expenses, he bore sole responsibility for the business liabilities. $900,000 of debt. His, not mine. My signature had been removed from every loan, my guarantee withdrawn, my credit protected. I was free and clear. Raymond was drowning. The hearing was set for 3 weeks out. Full divorce trial, custody determination, asset division. Valerie was confident. We're going to destroy him, she said. In the legal sense. I don't want to destroy him. I just want what's mine. That's the same thing at this point. What's yours is everything. What's his is debt. What about the hidden account, the one with Miranda being handled? The judge ordered it unfrozen, but only for the purpose of dividing it. Half goes to you as marital property. The other half stays with Raymond, but it'll be immediately garnished by his creditors. So Miranda gets nothing. Miranda gets exactly what she signed up for. A broke, lying man with a mountain of debt. Congratulations. I should have felt satisfied. I did feel satisfied. But I also felt tired. 2 years of planning, weeks of execution, and now more weeks of waiting. I just wanted it to be over. 3 more weeks, I told myself. 3 more weeks until freedom. I could make it 3 more weeks. I'd already made it 13 years. What was 3 more weeks? The day of the hearing arrived. 3 weeks of waiting. 3 weeks of Raymond's desperate phone calls. 3 weeks of Gloria's hateful messages through relatives. 3 weeks of watching Carter Trucking crumble to dust. But finally we were here. Fulton County Family Court. 9th floor. Courtroom 9B. I arrived early, 8:30 for a 9 o'clock hearing. Valerie was already there setting up at the plaintiff's table. Carmen had come to testify about the financial evidence. Patricia was in the gallery for moral support. I was wearing my best suit, the navy one I'd bought for my promotion interview 3 years ago. Pearl earrings, hair done at Rochelle's salon the night before. She'd stayed open late just for me. You're going to walk into that courtroom looking like a queen, Rochelle had said, because that's what you are. A queen taking back her throne. I felt like a queen. For the first time in 13 years, I felt like myself. Raymond arrived at 8:50, barely on time. Looking rough. Suit was wrinkled, tie was crooked, he'd lost weight. The stress was eating him alive. Good. His lawyer was a young guy. Couldn't have been more than 30, probably fresh out of law school taking whatever cases he could get. He looked nervous. He should be. He was about to get destroyed. Raymond tried to approach me in the hallway. Denise, can we talk? Just for a minute, Valerie stepped between us. All communication goes through counsel, Mr. Carter. You know that. This is my wife. I have a right to talk to her. She's your soon-to-be ex-wife. And no, you don't. Not without her consent. Which she's not giving. Raymond looked at me over Valerie's shoulder. Denise, please, this doesn't have to be like this. I looked back at him, this man I had loved, this man I had built a life with, this man who had thrown it all away for a younger woman and a fantasy. Yes, Raymond, it does. The bailiff called us in. We took our positions, Valerie and I at one table, Raymond and his lawyer at the other. Judge Morrison entered, an older black man with gray temples and wise eyes. Mother Ernestine had told me about him. Married 40 years, no tolerance for cheaters. Perfect. All rise. We rose. Be seated. We sat. We're here on the matter of Carter versus Carter, petition for divorce, division of assets, and custody determination. He looked at both tables. I've reviewed the filings from both parties. This is a contested divorce with significant financial complexity. I'll hear opening statements, then we'll proceed to evidence. Mrs. Carter's counsel, you may begin. Valerie stood, confident, prepared. Your Honor, this case is about a woman who gave everything to a marriage that gave nothing back. Denise Carter worked for 21 years as a loan officer, building her career, her credit, her financial stability. She used her inheritance to fund her husband's business. She co-signed every loan. She made every mortgage payment. She raised 2 children largely alone while her husband pursued failed ventures and extramarital affairs. She paused. Let that land. What we will prove today is that Raymond Carter systematically embezzled marital funds to support a secret relationship and a secret child. He diverted over $300,000 to his mistress Miranda Wells. He lied to his wife, his children, and this court about his activities. And when confronted, he attempted to manipulate the situation to steal even more. Mrs. Carter is not asking for revenge. She's asking for justice. She's asking this court to recognize her contributions, protect her from her husband's debts, and award her custody of children who deserve stability and honesty. She sat down. Raymond's lawyer stood, tried to look confident, failed. Your Honor, Raymond Carter is a businessman who took risks to provide for his family. Yes, there were difficulties in the marriage. Yes, there was an affair. But the characterization by opposing counsel is wildly exaggerated. Mr. Carter contributed to this family in ways that can't be measured on a spreadsheet. He was a present father, a loving husband. He made mistakes, but he's willing to work on the marriage if given the chance. We ask that assets be divided equitably, that custody be shared, and that Mr. Carter be given the opportunity to rebuild rather than be destroyed by his wife's vendetta. He sat down. That was the best he could do. Judge Morrison made a note. We'll proceed to evidence. Mrs. Carter's counsel. Valerie stood again. Your Honor, I'd like to call our first witness, Carmen Reyes, forensic accountant. Carmen took the stand, was sworn in, looked calm and professional. Ms. Reyes, Valerie began. Can you describe your qualifications? I'm a certified forensic accountant with 15 years of experience. I specialize in tracing financial irregularities in business and personal accounts. And you've reviewed the financial records in this case extensively. Bank statements, credit card records, business accounts, tax returns, property deeds. Everything. What did you find? Carmen opened her folder. I found a systematic pattern of fund diversion spanning approximately 2 years. Mr. Carter transferred a total of $327,000 to Miranda Wells through various mechanisms: direct payments labeled as consulting fees, mortgage and HOA payments on a condominium in her name, cash withdrawals corresponding to luxury purchases, and deposits into a joint account held by Mr. Carter and Ms. Wells. How do you know these funds were marital assets? Because they came from business accounts funded by loans co-signed by Mrs. Carter. Her credit, her guarantee, her liability. Money that should have been building marital equity was instead being funneled to Mr. Carter's mistress. Objection. Raymond's lawyer stood. Characterization. Sustained on the characterization. The witness will stick to facts. I'll rephrase, Valerie said. Ms. Reyes, what is the documented relationship between Mr. Carter and Ms. Wells? According to a birth certificate I obtained through public records, Mr. Carter is the father of Ms. Wells's child, Raymond James Carter, Jr., born 18 months ago. The courtroom murmured. Judge Morrison's expression hardened. Valerie continued, and the condominium purchased in Ms. Wells' name. Who paid for it? The down payment and subsequent mortgage payments came from Carter Trucking LLC business accounts. accounts funded by loans guaranteed by Mrs. Carter. So Mrs. Carter's credit was used to purchase property for her husband's mistress. That's correct. Valerie let that hang in the air. No further questions. Raymond's lawyer tried to cross-examine, tried to poke holes. Isn't it possible these were legitimate business expenses? Carmen almost laughed. A condominium in the name of a woman who is not a business partner, not a client, and not an employee? No. That's not a legitimate business expense. That's fraud. But the consulting fees? Ms. Wells provided no documented services to Carter Trucking. No invoices, no work product, no contracts. The payments were compensation for a personal relationship, not professional services. His lawyer gave up, sat down. The judge made more notes. Next witness, Valerie said, Kayla Carter. My daughter walked to the stand, 16 years old, dressed professionally, looking more like a woman than a girl. I was so proud of her, and so sorry she had to do this. Kayla. Valerie was gentle. Can you tell the court what you discovered 6 months ago? Kayla took a breath. I found my father's second phone, the one he used to communicate with Miranda. How did you find it? He left it in his car. I was looking for my charger. I saw messages on the screen. What did the messages say? Kayla's voice was steady. She'd prepared for this. He was calling her baby, saying he loved her, saying he couldn't wait to be with her, saying he was going to leave my mother soon. And what did you do? I took screenshots. Before he realized the phone was missing, Valerie submitted the screenshots into evidence, message after message. Raymond calling Miranda his future, calling Denise a burden, planning their life together. Raymond's lawyer didn't even try to cross-examine a 16-year-old girl. Smart. Kayla came and sat next to me. I squeezed her hand. You did good, baby, I whispered. Valerie called me to the stand next. This was my moment. Everything I'd been holding for 2 years. Every lie I'd swallowed. Every smile I'd faked. It all came down to this. Mrs. Carter. Can you describe your marriage? I looked at the judge, at my lawyer, at Raymond who wouldn't meet my eyes. For the first few years I thought I had a good marriage. I loved my husband. I believed in his dreams. I supported him in every way I could. When did things change? Gradually at first. He became distant, critical. He worked late more often. He was less interested in our family, more interested in his business. I told myself it was stress. I told myself he'd come back to us. When did you discover the affair 2 years ago? I found a second phone in his jacket, a burner phone. I knew immediately what it meant. Why didn't you confront him then? Because I'm a loan officer. I've spent my career watching people make emotional financial decisions that destroy their lives. I didn't want to be one of those people. I knew if I confronted him without preparation, he would spin it. Gaslight me. Maybe convince me I was crazy. And then he'd hide everything and leave me with nothing. So instead, you documented. I documented everything. For 2 years. Every payment to Miranda. Every hotel charge. Every lie he told me. I built a case. And the refinancing he requested my signature was the last piece he needed. Once he had a stable business again, he was going to leave me. Move Miranda into my house, take my children, leave me with the debt. How do you know that? Because my daughter heard him say it, and because I know my husband. I know how he thinks. I know his patterns. I looked at Raymond then, finally met his eyes. He underestimated me. He thought I was just a bank teller who signed papers when he told me to. He never realized I was watching. Learning. Waiting. The courtroom was silent. Mrs. Carter. Valerie's voice was soft. What do you want from this court? I want my house. I paid for it. My name is on the deed. My money made the down payment. My salary paid the mortgage. I want custody of my children. They deserve stability. They deserve honesty. They deserve a parent who puts them first. I want my name removed from my husband's debts. He created them. He misused them. He should bear them alone. And I want to be free. Free from a marriage built on lies. Free from a man who never appreciated what he had. No further questions, Valerie said. Raymond's lawyer stood for cross-examination. He looked like he wished he was anywhere else. "Mrs. Carter, you waited 2 years to address this. Doesn't that suggest you weren't really bothered by the situation? No. It suggests I was smart enough to prepare before I acted. You say your husband underestimated you, but isn't it true that you also deceived him? Pretending everything was normal while you built your case? I gave him exactly what he gave me, smiles that meant nothing, kisses that were performances, a marriage that existed only on the surface. The difference is I did it to protect myself. He did it to betray me." Raymond's lawyer had nothing else. He sat down. Judge Morrison looked at Raymond. "Mr. Carter, would you like to testify on your own behalf?" Raymond's lawyer whispered something. Raymond shook his head, then nodded, then stood. "Yes, Your Honor." He was sworn in, sat in the witness box, looking small, defeated. His lawyer asked a few softball questions. Raymond gave rehearsed answers about loving his family, making mistakes, wanting another chance. Then Valerie stood for cross-examination. "Mr. Carter, is Miranda Wells your girlfriend?" Raymond hesitated. We had a relationship." "Yes. And you have a child with her?" "Yes." "And you bought her a condominium?" "It was an investment in whose name? Hers. But I intended to." "You intended to live there with her after you left your wife." Raymond was silent. "Mr. Carter, answer the question." "Yes, that was the plan." Valerie nodded. "And the $147,000 in the joint account with Ms. Wells. Where did that money come from? Business accounts? Business accounts funded by loans guaranteed by your wife." "Yes." "So you used your wife's credit to save money to leave her?" Raymond's head dropped. "Yes." Valerie looked at the judge. "No further questions, Your Honor." The judge called a 30-minute recess to review the evidence. We waited in the hallway. Patricia hugged me. Carmen squeezed my shoulder. Valerie reviewed her notes, ready for closing arguments if needed. Raymond sat on a bench across the hall, alone. His lawyer had stepped away to make a phone call, probably looking for another job. For just a moment, I felt something like pity. This man I had loved for 13 years. This man who had held me on our wedding night and promised forever. This man who had cried when our children were born. He was broken now, and I had broken him. But then I remembered. The hotel receipts, the second phone, the baby with another woman, the money stolen from our family, the plan to throw me out of my own house. He broke himself. I just stopped cleaning up the pieces. The bailiff called us back in. "All rise." We rose. Judge Morrison sat, opened his folder, put on his reading glasses. "I've heard the evidence presented by both parties. I've reviewed the financial documentation, the testimony, and the circumstances of this marriage." He looked at Raymond. "Mr. Carter, in 40 years on the bench, I've seen a lot of marriages fall apart, but rarely have I seen such a clear case of financial misconduct and marital betrayal. You took your wife's inheritance and used it to start a business. You took her credit and used it to fund that business. You took her trust and used it to hide an affair that produced a child. And when you needed more money, you stole from the very company she helped you build to support your secret family." The judge shook his head. "That's not a man who made mistakes. That's a man who used his wife as a bank while planning his escape." Raymond's lawyer tried to object. The judge silenced him with a look. "Mrs. Carter," I stood straighter, "you showed remarkable restraint. 2 years of documentation, 2 years of preparation. Another woman might have exploded, confronted, made emotional decisions. But you approached this like the professional you are." He almost smiled. "The evidence you compiled is some of the most thorough I've ever seen in a divorce proceeding. It made my job very easy." He opened his ruling. On the matter of asset division, the marital residence located at 4752 Ridgewood Lane is awarded to Denise Carter. The deed is in her name. The down payment came from her separate inheritance. The mortgage has been paid exclusively from her income. This is and always was her property. I exhaled. My house. Safe. The vehicles registered in Mrs. Carter's name remain her property. Mr. Carter may retain any vehicles in his name, assuming he can maintain the payments. He couldn't. We both knew that. Those cars would be repossessed within a month. All business debts associated with Carter Trucking LLC are assigned to Raymond Carter. Evidence shows that Mrs. Carter's guarantees were obtained for a business she did not manage and from which she did not benefit. Moreover, Mr. Carter misused business funds for personal purposes. It would be unjust to saddle Mrs. Carter with debts created by her husband's misconduct. Raymond's face went gray. $900,000. All his. The joint account held with Miranda Wells, currently containing $147,000, is marital property. Mrs. Carter is awarded 75% of this account, given Mr. Carter's documented misconduct. That's $110,250 to be transferred immediately. I hadn't expected that much. Valerie had pushed for 75% as a negotiating position. The judge gave us everything. On the matter of spousal support, Raymond's lawyer perked up, hoping for something. Mr. Carter's income is currently zero given the collapse of his business. Mrs. Carter's income is substantial. However, given the circumstances of this divorce, specifically Mr. Carter's financial misconduct and marital betrayal, this court finds that spousal support from Mrs. Carter to Mr. Carter would be unjust. No spousal support is awarded. Raymond slumped. On the matter of child custody, this was the one that mattered most. The court has heard testimony from both parties and from the minor child Kayla Carter. Marcus Carter, age 13, has submitted a written statement expressing his preference to live with his mother. The judge removed his glasses, looked at Raymond. Mr. Carter, you maintained a secret life for 2 years. You lied to your children. You fathered a child with another woman while still married. And according to testimony, you plan to remove your wife from her home and install your mistress in her place. That is not the behavior of a father who prioritizes his children's well-being. Full physical and legal custody of both minor children is awarded to Denise Carter. I felt tears coming. Didn't fight them, Mr. Carter is granted supervised visitation every other weekend, Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., in a public place or at a supervised facility. This arrangement will be reviewed in 1 year, supervised. He would have to have someone watching him just to see his own children. On the matter of child support, Mr. Carter will pay child support of $1,500 per month for the care of both minor children. Given his current financial situation, this amount may be adjusted upon proof of changed circumstances. However, the obligation begins immediately. Raymond spoke for the first time. Your Honor, I don't have any income right now. The judge's expression was unmoved. Then I suggest you find some, Mr. Carter. Your children need to eat. Your inability to manage your finances is not their problem. He closed his folder. This divorce is granted on grounds of adultery and financial misconduct. The marriage of Denise Carter and Raymond Carter is hereby dissolved. He banged the gavel. Court is adjourned. I stood there, frozen. It was over. 13 years of marriage, dissolved with a bang of a gavel, and I was free. Valerie hugged me. Patricia rushed from the gallery. Carmen was wiping her eyes. We did it. Valerie was beaming. We got everything. Everything, Denise. I couldn't speak, just nodded. Let the tears fall. Across the aisle, Raymond was having a different experience. His lawyer was packing up quickly, clearly wanting to escape. Raymond just sat there, staring at the empty judge's bench. I walked over to him. I don't know why. Maybe I needed closure. Maybe I needed him to understand. Raymond. He looked up. His eyes were red. You destroyed me. No, Raymond. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped covering for you. What am I supposed to do now? I have nothing. No business. No house. No family. $900,000 in debt. What am I supposed to do? I thought about that question. Really thought about it. I don't know. That's not my problem anymore. I turned and walked away. Patricia and Carmen were waiting by the door. Valerie was already on her phone, probably coordinating the asset transfers. Let's go home, I said. Patricia put her arm around me. Let's go to your home, she corrected. Your home. Not his. Never his again. We walked out of the courthouse into the sunshine. It was a beautiful day. Clear blue sky, warm breeze, the kind of day that makes you believe in new beginnings. I stopped on the courthouse steps, took a deep breath, looked up at the sky. "I did it, Grandma," I said quietly. "I used your money to build something, and then I protected it, just like you would have wanted." Patricia squeezed my hand. "She'd be proud of you, Denise. So proud." "I know. I'm proud of me, too." We walked to the parking lot, got in our cars, drove away from the worst chapter of my life, and toward the best one. The aftermath came in waves. First wave, the money. Within 48 hours, $110,000 was in my account. My account, just my name. Money that Raymond had stolen now returned where it belonged. I used some of it to pay off the mortgage faster, used some to start college funds for the kids, put the rest in savings, security, stability, things I hadn't felt in years. Second wave, Raymond's collapse. Without the business, without the house, without access to my credit. Raymond had nothing. He moved into a cheap apartment on the south side, 1 bedroom, roaches in the walls, a far cry from the 4-bedroom home he'd been living in. The trucks were repossessed. The building was seized. The equipment was auctioned. Carter. Trucking the empire he bragged about building vanished like it never existed. Creditors came calling. Collection agencies, lawyers, the $900,000 in debt followed him everywhere. His credit score dropped to the 400s. He couldn't get a credit card, couldn't get a car loan, couldn't get an apartment without a massive deposit. He ended up working at a warehouse, loading boxes, minimum wage plus overtime. A 41-year-old man with an MBA loading boxes because no one else would hire someone with his debt ratio. Part of me felt sorry for him. A small part. The part that remembered the man I married. But mostly I felt nothing. He made his choices. He lived with them. That's how life works. Third wave. Miranda. She didn't last long. When Raymond had money, when Raymond had a business, when Raymond had a future, Miranda was in love. She was going to be the new Mrs. Carter. She was going to live in my house, spend my money, raise her son with my husband. But Raymond broke Raymond in a roach-infested apartment, Raymond loading boxes for $12 an hour. That wasn't the man she signed up for. She left him 3 weeks after the divorce was final, took RJ and moved back to her mother's house, filed for child support. Now Raymond was paying for 2 families he couldn't afford. I heard through the grapevine that she tried to come back when she realized how hard single motherhood was. Raymond wouldn't take her. Even he had limits, apparently. Last I heard, she was working at a retail store, raising RJ alone, still living with her mother. The condo had been sold to pay Raymond's debts. She got nothing from it. Karma, I thought. That's what karma looks like. Fourth wave. Gloria. Raymond's mother lost her house, just like I said she would. Without Raymond paying her mortgage, she couldn't keep up. The bank foreclosed. She had 60 days to vacate. She called me. Once. To scream. "You've destroyed this family. You've destroyed my son. You've made an old woman homeless. God will punish you for this." I let her finish. Then I said my piece. "Gloria, your son destroyed this family when he started sleeping with another woman. Your son destroyed himself when he stole money to fund that affair. And you encouraged it. You knew about Miranda. You called her the upgrade. You told Raymond I wasn't good enough for him. You made your bed. Now sleep in it." I hung up, blocked her number, never spoke to her again. She ended up moving in with Tasha Raymond's sister. 2 bitter women in a small apartment blaming me for everything their golden boy had done to himself. I didn't lose sleep over it. Fifth wave. My children. This was the wave that mattered. Kayla thrived. With the chaos gone, with the tension dissolved, she blossomed. Her grades went up. She joined the debate team. Started talking about law school. She wanted to be like Valerie, she said. Wanted to help women like me. That made me cry. Happy tears. Marcus took longer. He missed his father. Despite everything, he missed him. The supervised visits helped some. Seeing Raymond every other weekend, even in a park with a social worker watching, was better than nothing. But he also saw who his father really was, saw the cheap apartment, saw the broken man, saw the difference between the life his mother built and the life his father had left. By the end of the first year, Marcus understood. He didn't hate his father, but he didn't idolize him anymore either. Dad made bad choices, he told me one night. but you made good ones. That's why we're okay. That's my boy. Growing up wiser than his father ever was. Sixth wave. Me. I changed. Not all at once, but steadily. I started sleeping through the night. First time in years. No more lying awake wondering where Raymond was. No more stress dreams about money and betrayal. I lost 20 pounds, not from dieting, from releasing the stress I'd been carrying. My body literally got lighter when I let go of him. I got promoted at work, Senior Vice President of Commercial Lending. Biggest promotion of my career. Mr. Banks said I'd earned it years ago, but now I finally had the energy to claim it. I redecorated the house. New paint, new furniture. Got rid of everything that reminded me of Raymond. Made it mine. Truly mine. I started going to therapy, working through the anger, the betrayal, the years I'd lost to a man who didn't deserve them. My therapist asked me once if I regretted waiting 2 years, if I wished I'd left sooner. I thought about it, really thought. No, I said. Those 2 years taught me who I really am, not just a wife, not just a mother, a strategist, a survivor, a woman who can take a hit and plan a comeback. If I'd left emotionally without preparation, he would have destroyed me. The way he destroys everything. Instead, I destroyed him. And I'm not sorry. My therapist smiled. That's called empowerment, she said. Congratulations. Seventh wave, church. I kept going. Every Sunday. Sat in my usual spot. Held my head high. Some people judged. I could see it in their eyes. Divorced woman, destroyed her husband, cold, calculating, unchristian. But more people supported me than I expected. Women who had been through similar situations. Women who wished they'd been as smart as I was. Women who saw me as proof that you don't have to stay in a bad marriage just because a preacher tells you to. Mother Ernestine became my biggest advocate. She told everyone who would listen that I had done the right thing, that God doesn't expect us to martyr ourselves for men who don't deserve us. The pastor eventually came around too. After enough church members told him to mind his business, he stopped preaching about submission every time I walked in. Small victories, but they added up. And Raymond stopped coming to church entirely. Too ashamed to show his face. Too broke to tithe anyway. His absence was the loudest testimony of all. I'm sitting on my porch, in my house, with my cup of tea and my journal and my peace. The sun is setting, orange and pink spreading across the sky like God is painting just for me. The kids are inside doing homework. I can hear Kayla's music through the window. Some singer I don't know singing about being a survivor. Fitting. 1 year since the divorce was finalized. 1 year since I took back my life. 1 year since I stopped being Raymond Carter's wife and started being Denise Carter. Just Denise. Nothing else attached. It's the best year I've ever had. My career is thriving. Senior VP now, corner office, team of 12 people reporting to me. I'm not just reviewing loans anymore. I'm making policy, shaping how the bank does business. They offered me a transfer to the New York office. More money, more prestige. I turned it down. My children are here. My sister circle is here. My church is here. My life is here. No amount of money is worth leaving that behind. My children are thriving too. Kayla is a senior now, applying to colleges. Spelman is her first choice. My alma mater. She wants to study political science, then law school. She's going to change the world, that girl. Marcus is in high school, made the basketball team, got a B+ average. He's dating a nice girl from his chemistry class. She comes over for dinner sometimes. Sweet kid. Good family. He still sees Raymond every other weekend. The supervision was lifted 6 months ago after Raymond proved he could be trusted for 4-hour visits. Now they go to movies, get dinner, talk about sports. It's not the relationship they had before. It never will be. But it's something. And that's more than a lot of kids get. Raymond is still struggling, still in that apartment, still loading boxes, still paying off debt he'll never escape. But he's sober now. Got help for the drinking that started after the divorce, goes to meetings every week. He's trying in his limited way to be a better man. Too late for me. But maybe not too late for his children. I don't hate him anymore. That's the strangest part. For 2 years I carried so much anger, so much rage. It fueled me, kept me sharp, helped me plan my escape. But now I just feel nothing. He's the father of my children. He's a man I used to know. He's a cautionary tale I tell myself when I'm tempted to trust too easily. But he's not my enemy anymore. He's not even my problem. He's just someone I used to be married to, and that feels like freedom. Miranda tried to contact me once, about 6 months ago, a message through social media. "I know you probably hate me," she wrote, "but I wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't understand what I was doing. I didn't understand who he really was. I thought I was getting a successful man who would take care of me. Instead, I got a liar who used both of us. I didn't respond. What was there to say?" She made her choices. She learned her lessons. My forgiveness wouldn't change anything for either of us, but I didn't hate her either. She was young, foolish, seduced by a man who knew how to sell a fantasy. In another life, that could have been me. The difference is, I woke up. I saw through the lies, and I did something about it. Gloria passed away 4 months ago. Heart attack, sudden. Raymond called to tell me in case the kids wanted to go to the funeral. Kayla went. Marcus didn't. I stayed home. I didn't grieve. I didn't celebrate either. She was just a woman who made bad choices and influenced her son to make worse ones. Her death didn't change what she did, didn't erase the cruelty, didn't make me forget being called the help in my own home. But I sent flowers, because that's what you do, and because I'm not the monster she tried to make me. The sister circle is stronger than ever. We meet every month now. Brunch at Patricia's house. Valerie brings champagne. Carmen brings the financial gossip. Rochelle does everyone's hair afterward. We've added new members, too. Women who heard my story. Women who were inspired to leave their own bad situations. Women who needed to see that it was possible to fight back and win. We call ourselves the Signature Club now. A joke that became serious. Because we all learned the same lesson: your signature matters. Your credit matters. Your name on those papers matters. Don't give it away to someone who doesn't deserve it. And if you already did, take it back. That's the message I share now. At women's groups, at church events, sometimes at the bank with clients who come in looking beaten down by bad marriages and worse financial decisions. You have more power than you think I tell them. Document everything. Know your rights. Understand what you own and what you owe. And when the time comes, don't be afraid to use what you know. Some of them listen. Some of them don't. Some of them go back to husbands who don't deserve them, convinced that love is enough. It's not enough. It was never enough. Love without respect is just a cage with flowers on the bars. I loved Raymond. For years I genuinely loved him, but he didn't respect me, didn't value me, didn't see me as a partner, just as a signature, a credit score, a means to his ends. The moment I realized that everything changed. So here I am, 1 year later, sitting on my porch, watching the sunset, drinking my tea, single, successful, at peace, not looking for another man, not opposed to it either, but not making it my priority. If love comes, it comes. If it doesn't, I'm complete on my own. I spent too many years defining myself by my marriage, by my husband's success or failure, by whether Raymond was happy with me. Now I define myself by my own terms, my career, my children, my growth, my peace, and that's worth more than any marriage ever was. Let me tell you something. If you're watching this right now, if you're in a marriage that's draining you, if you're signing papers you don't understand, if you're funding dreams that aren't yours, if you're smiling while dying inside, if you know something's wrong but you're too scared to look, if you think leaving means losing everything, listen to me. Your signature is power. Learn where it is, learn what it means, learn what it's worth. Your credit is currency. Protect it, monitor it. Don't let anyone use it without understanding the cost. Your patience is a weapon. You don't have to react immediately. You can wait. You can plan. You can prepare. And when you're ready, you can strike. Silence isn't always weakness. Sometimes it's strategy. Sometimes it's the space where you build your case, gather your evidence, position yourself for victory. Don't let anyone tell you that standing up for yourself is wrong, that protecting your assets is selfish, that leaving a bad marriage is unchristian or unwomanly or cold. You know what's cold? Spending your wife's inheritance on your mistress's condo. You know what's selfish, building a secret family while your real family pays your bills. You know what's wrong, using someone's love as a license to steal from them. I did what I had to do. I waited for my moment, and when it came, I used it. Raymond needed my signature to save his business. That signature was my leverage, my power, my escape route. And when he came asking for it, I gave him something else instead: divorce papers. His whole world collapsed with one word: no. Not no, I won't sign, not no, I'm not sure, just no. No more. No more of this marriage, no more of these lies, no more of him. I stayed silent about his affair until he needed my signature, and then I used that signature to take back everything: my house, my money, my children, my peace, my life. If you're out there suffering in silence, know that your silence can be strategic too. You don't have to explode. You don't have to react. You can wait. You can plan. You can win. And when your moment comes, when he needs something only you can give, that's when you take everything back. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of this community of women who refuse to stay down. If this message reached you, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And comment below. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me if you've been through something similar. Tell me if this gave you hope, because we're not alone. None of us are alone. We're a sisterhood of survivors, a community of comebacks, a generation of women who learned that our names on those papers mean something, and we're just getting started. My name is Denise Carter. I'm 39 years old. I'm a senior vice president, a mother, a survivor. And I'm proof that when you know your worth, when you protect your power, when you wait for your moment and strike without mercy, you can take back everything they thought they stole. Stay strong, stay smart, stay ready, and never ever underestimate the power of your signature. This is Denise, signing off.